And it's a lot of rappers behind the scene that want to talk about it and they're scared. But sweetheart, I'm not scared. I'm legendary in these streets. You know how many artists I've spoken to behind the scenes that are too afraid to speak up?
So you'll speak. We'll speak, y'all.
I'm gonna speak because y'all can't touch me. I am completely protected. I am protected by God. Y'all don't see that by now?
Nicki Minaj just blew the lid off something wild. She dropped serious receipts, straight up accusing Roc Nation of being behind a shady setup game targeting rappers. And she's not holding back with the names either. She pointed fingers directly at Jay-Z and Desiree Perez, a woman with a criminal past who later turned into a government informant. But this ain't just wild speculation. Nicki's making bold connections, linking Roc Nation to Tory Lanez's sentencing, 6ix9ine's snitch label, Casanova's RICO case, and a whole lineup of suspicious legal drama. The one thing all these cases have in common, they involve people speaking out against Desiree Perez. But just when you think it couldn't get messier, boom! Desiree's own daughter stepped into the spotlight, siding with Nicki. She claims her mother had her thrown into a mental institution for no legit reason. If Desiree really did that to her own child, what do you think she'd do to someone like Nicki Minaj? Especially now that Nicki's out here dropping bombshell evidence that Roc Nation might be working hand in hand with the feds. Sound too wild to believe? Go check it yourself. Desiree's daughter put it all out there online.
Artists have no clue what is happening. Y'all don't know what the we go through at the workplace. You know how many women, I said this on Twitter, get strategically blackballed out of their positions when they're a little too strong, when they're a little too smart, and get told that they're angry black women and they're having a breakdown?
But of course, no major mainstream media dared to cover it. That's exactly why Nicki's turning up the heat, showing cold, hard proof that Roc Nation might be deeply tied into government surveillance. If that's real, then every outspoken rapper could be on the chopping block, including Nicki herself. So what did Nicki actually reveal? She posted a screenshot showing claims that Roc Nation and Desiree Perez have been working directly with federal authorities, spying on artists, and using their legal problems as leverage. The doc even labels Desiree as a confidential informant for federal law enforcement. And get this, it's not just some random message from the internet. This came straight out of a lawsuit filed by none other than Desiree's daughter, Dare Hadley. According to the court records, Desiree had Dare locked up in a mental facility with no real medical reason. Dare even shared body cam footage of the exact moment she got taken away. And she says it was all set up by her own mom. Now just wait till you hear why Desiree allegedly had her own daughter locked away in a psych ward. It's beyond twisted. According to Demare's legal complaint, Desiree didn't just use her influence for business. She used it to break up Demare's marriage to her husband, Jevin Hadley. Demare claims her mom threatened to Baker Act her if she didn't divorce him. And for those who don't know, the Baker Act is a Florida law that lets cops, judges, or mental health pros lock someone up for 72 hours if they're seen as a danger due to mental illness. But here's where it gets even worse. The reason Desiree allegedly wanted her daughter away from Jevon? Because he's black.
And some abuse with Roc Nation, with Desiree Perez, with other individuals. Not kind of, they've abused her. They've abused of her platform. They abused of her talents. They've abused of her freedom of speech. They've abused her family. They've attacked her husband. They've attacked her child. And it's sad. It's really sad.
Demore also compared what Nicki...
That's right. Demare says her mother didn't approve of her marriage just because of her husband's race. This is the same Desiree Perez who Jay-Z trusted to run Roc Nation. Demare's complaint even quotes her mother saying, "I'm going to Baker correct you. If you stay with that N-word, I will have you committed." That's a serious accusation, and it's straight from the lawsuit. And just to be clear, Demare wasn't having any kind of breakdown. She backed up her claims with piles of medical records. We're talking blood tests, urine screens, hair follicle tests, and over 10 years of clean primary care history. She shared everything on X, calling out the fake blogs, paid-off pages, and troll accounts that were out there spreading lies about her. In her own words, she posted, "I had blood work, urine screens, 3 different places on separate occasions. A hair follicle test can show over 3 months of history of any drug use, and I have over 10 years of primary care visits, full screens. I have never done drugs. I have never drunk alcohol." She made it crystal clear there was no reason for her to be institutionalized, and she says it was all done out of control and hate. So how does this all loop back to Nicki Minaj? Well, Nicki's been warning people about Desiree Perez and Jay-Z for a while now, but folks kept brushing her off, calling her bitter like she was making it up. Remember when Nicki and Megan Thee Stallion were going at each other with disses last year? Turns out there might have been way more going on behind the scenes than anyone realized. So here's where things really started heating up. Nicki Minaj didn't just sit quiet after all this. She clapped back hard, threatening to spill the dirt on Desiree Perez's shady business dealings, and even accused her of firing a bunch of Roc Nation staff for no real reason. Nicki posted that her next track would dive into all the people Desiree allegedly fired for unknown reasons, and warned there's a lot more coming. She even said she's willing to go broke to try to replace me. Fix it, Jesus. But here's the kicker. Those employees weren't just let go randomly. They were allegedly fired for being Nicki Minaj fans. Yeah, seriously. And now, Desiree's own daughter, Dare, is backing Nicki up and claiming Roc Nation, and Desiree herself have been pulling some dark moves behind the curtain to sabotage Nicki's career. In a recent interview, Dare didn't hold back. She said Roc Nation targeted her entire family, from her husband to her own child. She compared Nicki's battles with Roc Nation to what she went through during her forced institutionalization, saying both were cold-blooded setups controlled by powerful people. According to her, Desiree and Roc Nation are far more dangerous than the public even begins to understand. When Nicki saw Dare's lawsuit and the interviews, she wasted no time. She jumped on X and fired shots back at her doubters. She wrote, "To the PRs who claim it wasn't made clear to your ugly asses. Hopefully Demo's massive and detailed page-by-page claim gets you all the way caught up. And, never call me a liar. Never insinuated either. Every single angel ever created fights for me at the mirror."
Goes to jail. They gave y'all all the facts of the juice of Tory Lanez going to jail and this, that, and the third, and Megan getting arrested and da-da-da-da. 2 days after that, I get a call from Roc Nation that says, "Yo, we heard you're going to make a statement about what happened, and it'd be in your best interest if you don't make that statement."
Nicki's not just defending herself, she's coming out swinging with backup and receipts. Nicki wasn't playing when she said, "Vengeance is the Lord's, be careful." She warned that every single person who plotted against her, everyone, would face the consequences. No one who conspired on the wrong side will go unpunished for the role they played in this movie, she said. Then came the chilling line, "I hope it was all worth it." You could feel the heat in her words. And yes, Nicki confirmed that Roc Nation went after not just her, but her husband and even her child. She said powerful people were actively working behind the scenes to tear her family apart, trying to separate a husband from his wife and his own kid.
Earlier this month, officers arrived at Minaj's home around 6 p.m. to investigate a report that Nicki's 3-year-old son was being abused. After examining the toddler, officers determined he was safe and they left, but another call was made in the early morning hours, and around 3 a.m. Minaj and her family were awakened after a fire was reported at her home. Firefighters arrived and found no flames. Swatting is a term used by law enforcement officials used to describe an act of making a false report in order to get a response from police that can involve an armed SWAT team.
But it gets even crazier. Remember when Nicki's home was swatted multiple times starting back in mid-2023? Yeah, that wasn't random. According to Nicki, it was all part of Roc Nation's twisted scheme to intimidate her. The first swatting incident was terrifying. Someone made a fake call to the cops saying Nicki was harming her child. LAPD showed up, searched the house, investigated everything, and found nothing. But just hours later, another call came in, this time claiming there was a fire at her address. And guess what? Still nothing. Then only a few weeks after that, Nicki got hit again, this time with a bogus report that she had been shot. Cops stormed in only to find no sign of any crime, no injuries, no shooting, nothing at all. According to the LA Times, the LA County Sheriff's Department got a call saying a friend had shot a black woman in Hidden Hills. When law enforcement rolled up, they discovered it was yet another swatting stunt. A neighbor even confirmed to the press that the cops had swarmed Nicki's property. This wasn't just random trolling. It was coordinated, repetitive, and meant to shake her to the core. All of this madness was happening right when Nicki was dragging Roc Nation out into the light, exposing what she claimed was a much bigger, darker plan playing out behind closed doors. So when Desiree Perez's own daughter says that her mom and Roc Nation are willing to ruin anyone who doesn't fall in line, and then Nicki Minaj starts getting swatted while her child is being dragged into the chaos, you seriously gotta ask, was this all part of some sick playbook? Was Roc Nation sending a clear warning? Because at this point, nothing about this feels random. Nothing.
I don't want y'all to know certain stuff, right? And I'm gonna expose the whole rap game right now because I got facts, right? This is what I do when I come on live. And shout out to the Queen Nicki. She'll be joining in just a few. She's an executive at Roc Nation. She's an executive at Roc Nation. You see her with Meek Mill. You know what I'm saying? She's an executive at Roc Nation. There she goes right here, right? Let's see who Desiree Perez is, right? The story that spooked Dash revealed how Perez, the wife of longtime Jay-Z wingman Juan Perez, became a cooperating witness for the DEA in the 1990s. Again, this is public information. This is public.
You've got to remember who we're talking about here. Desiree Perez has a very messy past. And Nicki? She got targeted because she had the guts to say what nobody else would touch. Roc Nation isn't just pushing music. It might be fronting for something way bigger. Nicki's claims go straight to the top, pointing fingers at Roc Nation being used as a federal tool to monitor and control rappers. And at the center of this tangled mess, Desiree Perez, the ex-con who turned federal informant, that's not just gossip. That comes from real court records and investigative reports, including one from a major account on X called Resists Programming. Back in 1994, Desiree was caught red-handed, 35 kilos of cocaine, and charged with conspiracy to distribute.
Casanova has officially been sentenced for his alleged crimes as a part of the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang. On Tuesday, June 27th, Casanova, whose real name is Caswell Sr., received 188 months, or 15 years behind bars from U.S. District Judge Philip P. Howard.
That wasn't some petty charge either. The feds came in heavy, linking her to a multi-state drug ring stretching from New York all the way down to Puerto Rico. And she wasn't working solo. Her husband, Juan O.G. Perez, was deep in it too. Oh, and guess who one of Juan's oldest friends is? Jay-Z. They go way back. The two even launched the 40/40 Club in the 90s, and later Jay named Juan as Roc Nation's sports division president. To this day, their families are still tight. But back to the wildest part, Desiree never did time. She skated by with just 5 years of probation. How? Because she flipped. She became a federal informant, wore a wire, and helped bring down her former crew. A 2014 article from the New York Daily News even called her the Fed's star mole. Let that sink in. Star mole. The report described her as a Manhattan nightclub manager with a stacked rap sheet and deep ties to hip-hop's elite. They even said she had a long, chaotic history as a DEA informant and fugitive. Sure, Desiree later got pardoned, but that doesn't mean her work with the feds ever really stopped.
Rapper Nicki Minaj was the apparent target of a swatting call last night at around 7 p.m. The LA County Sheriff's Department received a call claiming an assault with a deadly weapon had occurred at the Grammy winner's Hidden Hills residence. The caller claimed somebody had shot a black female adult, and two suspects wearing all black were still on the property. But when deputies arrived at Minaj's residence, there was no evidence of any crime.
Nicki Minaj isn't sugarcoating anything. She flat out claims that both Desiree Perez and Jay-Z are government snitches. According to her, Roc Nation ain't just a record label, it's a full-blown federal front crafted to trap rappers and keep the entire hip-hop industry under tight surveillance. And once you look at the names involved, things start getting real suspicious. So who are the artists Nicki says were allegedly set up by Roc Nation? The most obvious one, Tory Lanez. He was convicted back in December 2022 for allegedly shooting Megan Thee Stallion. But the case had massive red flags from the start. Key pieces of evidence didn't add up. Gunshot residue didn't match the idea that Tory fired the gun, and the bullet fragments that were supposedly taken from Megan's foot vanished. A doctor even said he removed fragments, but the detective on the case, Stogner, admitted they couldn't be found anymore. Witnesses also claimed it wasn't Tory who fired at all. They said a woman pulled the trigger. Tory's team questioned the bullet's trajectory and even challenged the chain of custody on the evidence. But here's where it gets even messier. Before he was sentenced, Tory openly accused Roc Nation of setting him up.
Legally, I can't go home.
No, you cannot.
Why?
Because you're being Baker acted.
Body camera video shows the moments Broward deputies encouraged Demore Hadley to get into this pickup truck with people she says she didn't know.
I can't ride with you and you guys take me?
You're going to be in handcuffs, so dog's not going to be able to come?
No, I don't want to be handcuffed.
Okay.
Demore says they took her to a hospital for a mental health evaluation after this doctor signed paperwork saying she was a risk to herself.
What he told me was, we received a call from your family that you tried to OD the night before.
A doctor she says she'd never met before.
Your mom, it's your aunt.
Okay. And according to Demore, it's her own mother who's behind it. In this lawsuit, she claims her mother, Desiree Perez, used unlawful means to have Demore falsely detained under Florida's Baker Act and Marchman Act.
So she's the CEO of Roc Nation, a company that she owns along with Sean Carter, the famous rapper Jay-Z.
Now wait till you hear.
And when the guilty verdict came down, Tory's dad lost it outside the courthouse. He screamed at the cameras that Desiree Perez, Jay-Z, and Roc Nation were trading and bartering the souls of young men. That's not just outrage. That sounds like a deep accusation. But Tory wasn't alone. Just like Nicki's been warning, it seems like any rapper who dares to speak out against Roc Nation ends up tangled in some legal drama. Take 6ix9ine. He was slapped with the ultimate snitch label after working with the feds during his RICO case. The media dragged him through the dirt. But ask yourself, was that really just about him flipping, or was he another piece in a bigger game? Nicki's theory? Speak out against Roc Nation and suddenly the law's coming for you, over and over again. But here's the part nobody ever brings up. 6ix9ine didn't just catch heat for snitching, he also took a direct shot at Roc Nation. He linked up with Nicki Minaj to publicly call out Desiree Perez. That move alone might have painted a target on his back. And then there's Casanova, another artist with ties to Roc Nation who ended up getting hit with serious federal RICO charges. But the timing, way too suspicious. He had just started speaking out about some of Roc Nation's shady business dealings, and not long after, boom, the feds show up at his door. The whole rollout of Casanova's indictment followed a pattern that's starting to look way too familiar. Just like Nicki warned, get rappers signed into contracts, keep them on a leash, and the second they push back, burn them down. But here's where things really get intense. Nicki's hinting that her list of names doesn't stop at just rappers. Nope, she's talking managers, media insiders, record execs, even judges. Yeah, judges. If Nicki decides to unleash everything she's got, this won't just be a scandal. It could be the implosion of Roc Nation right in front of our eyes. And from the way it's sounding, that collapse might already be underway. But here's what almost nobody talks about. 6ix9ine didn't just get dragged for flipping on his crew. He also went directly at Roc Nation. He teamed up with Nicki Minaj and boldly called out Desiree Perez by name. That alone might have made him a marked man. Then you've got Casanova, another rapper connected to Roc Nation, who got slammed with heavy federal RICO charges. But guess what? The timing was too perfect. He had just started questioning Roc Nation's business moves, and just a few months later, here come the feds. Real convenient, right? Even the way his indictment played out followed a pattern Nicki's been exposing for a while.
Nation, my mother, Desiree Perez, all these law firms, Quinn and Emanuel, Reed Smith, they have a lot of money and connections and resources. It's really sad. Somebody so resourceful, talented, high profile as Nicki Minaj being targeted. It should really scare the American people. It should really scare you guys too, right? Because I'm the daughter. So it's like at this point, if it's happening to me, I think she's really outspoken, and I'm grateful that she's being outspoken on it, because I think she's almost seeing it like, well, it happened to me. It's happening to her. Let me speak up on it. Nobody is safe right now.
So after Nicki's
lure artists into contracts, control them from the inside, and the moment they push back, set them on fire. And hold up, it doesn't stop there. Nicki says her list goes way beyond rappers. We're talking managers, top execs, media bosses, even judges. Yes, judges. If she drops all the receipts she's sitting on, we might witness Roc Nation fall apart in real time, live and direct. So if you want to stay locked in while this story keeps unfolding, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think. Is this the end of Roc Nation or just the beginning of something even bigger? See you on the next one.